Hello, Phelan fans. I think we're live. Yes, we are. Welcome to our book club style live chat all about my no spice YA fantasy on wings of crowns and chaos. And as you can see, we also have some exciting guests, my fabulous audiobook narrators, who I can't wait to introduce you to in just a moment. But first, I did want to clarify that while this live chat is all about my sequel, don't run away yet if you haven't read book 1 or 2. So if you have not read book 1 yet, here's a little bit about it on the screen. And you want to go read book 1 before you engage with us, but I did want to let you know that the entire audiobook for book 1 is actually free on my YouTube channel right now. It's in a 6-part YouTube playlist. It has all the character art on it. It's not going to have the book cover. It has the character art, so don't be thrown, but it's linked in the description below, along with a fun book 1 live chat that's very similar to this that you can watch. And then you're going to want to watch or read book 2 and then come back. And if you haven't read book 2, or if you haven't finished book 2 yet, you can totally still hang out with us for the beginning of this chat, because I do have a few very exciting non-spoilery things that I think you're going to love. But once we start talking about the sequel, I will for sure let you know when to duck out, because there will be tons of spoilers. We're going to talk about all 6 parts of this story as we discuss your favorite characters, scenes, plot twists, reveals, while also answering any of your burning questions. My narrators will also share how they brought your favorite characters and scenes to life, so feel free to ask them any questions as we go along with this as well. Plus, I will share a ton of behind the scenes details, including what inspired certain aspects of the story and what changed from first to final draft. And then at the end, I'll also share what's coming for books 3 and 4, which will complete the series. Now that all those housekeeping things are out of the way, I'm very excited to introduce you to my special guests, my extremely talented audiobook narrators, Talon David and Alec Marsh. They did such an amazing job with this audiobook and know these characters so intimately that I thought it would be super fun to have them join us. And I'm going to have them share a little bit about themselves in a second. But while they do, I'd love for you guys that are here live or watching the replay to introduce yourselves in the live chat box or in the comments, answering the following questions so we can kind of chat with you as well. So if you have read at least book 1, but also if you've read book 2, who is or are your favorite characters from the books or from the series? And if you have read book 2, which POVs did you love the most? Because we had 5 POVs in book 2, but please try not to say any spoilers yet. And this goes for my narrators as well. No spoilers yet. I will let you know when we can talk about spoilers. But just in case there's anybody here who hasn't read book 2, we don't want to get there quite yet. So we'll let you guys introduce yourselves in the chat with your favorites. And I'm going to ask my lovely narrators to share a little bit about themselves, who they voiced in this second book, and how long have they been doing audiobook narration. So why don't we just start there? And Talon, can I pick on you to go first?
Yes, absolutely. So I voiced Quinn, Vale, and Alice. And yeah, each of their perspectives were written so well and so distinctly, and it just gave me so much to work with. This was so fun. A challenge, of course. I don't think I've done 3 different, like this many multi-POV 3 characters before. So this was definitely a challenge that I really love to do. And I have been doing this for over 5 years now. So 5.5, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and how many audiobooks now?
Oh, it's got to be close to 155 now.
Guys, you should seriously go look up Talon, look up all of her audiobooks, go listen to them. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Brittany. I am so proud of the work I get to do with you, particularly. So
thank you. I love working with you. And this book, we got to introduce some male POVs, and I was super excited to connect with Alec. So Alec, you want to share just a little bit about yourself, your experience, and who you voice in?
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Alec. I voiced Aaron and Hickory. Oh my God, these 2 guys, they are invited to all of my events for the rest of my life. I fell in love with these characters. Just the dichotomy of the cool guy Aaron and the nerdy guy Hickory is just something I loved to do. And as far as audiobooks, thank you. As far as audiobooks go, I've been narrating audiobooks for a couple of years, but this past year was my first time doing it professionally and really just jumping into the whole world of voiceover, and it's been incredible. So
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did awesome. You guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, it is available everywhere. And I would love for you guys to, before we kind of chat with some people in the chat, to also say which POV was like, would you say is was your favorite to voice, or which character did you identify with most, and where can people find you online so they can connect with you? So I'm gonna pick on Talon again.
Well, I'm afraid I am Quinn.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So that I think of all of the projects I've had the privilege to narrate, Quinn is the one that I felt like, oh, yeah, you even describe her with my same attributes. So, like dark eyes, dark hair. I'm like, I'm picturing myself here. Why did you do this,
Yeah.
Brittany? It's just funny how we get connected. I'm like, we didn't even know that this was going to be this good of a partnership, but it just worked really well. So I know it just from having so much time with Quinn in book 1, she always like feels like I might as well just be speaking this myself. But so fun to voice. But I mean, both Vale and Alice, I tried to kind of pick on different tones. So Vale was fun because of the accent, of course, and I do love a good British accent. So yeah, doing more of her kind of the Hermione type tone with that, and then with Alice digging into more of the emotional, like empath, and how that would come across in her tone.
Yeah.
Every time, like I tried to, when I was narrating, pick out words that were like emotion language that she would use, and like emphasize that, and like really put more feeling into all of that. So it was like a technical challenge with both of those two, where Quinn is just, that's my girl, man.
Just comes naturally. You do her so well. She does all of them so well. And you guys, if you've never listened to the audiobooks, it is kind of said that like sylphs have this, like they over accentuate their syllables and consonants and stuff. And in my brain, they have pretty much like a British accent, and Talon just does it to a T, and it's so fun. So if you haven't heard Vale with the British accent yet, you got to pick up the audiobook so you can hear it, because it's so fun.
You must.
Cool. And where can people find you online, Talon?
Oh, well, under my website is probably the best, talondavid.com. I do music as well, so that's a big part of the website, but then also voiceover, and then also on social media, Talon David Voices on Instagram.
Yes, I love it. All right, and Mr. Alec, same question.
my favorite to voice.
Yeah, like who did you identify with, or which one's like the most fun to voice?
So it's funny because when you reached out to me initially, it was just for Aaron, and I got Hickory. I auditioned for Hickory, and you loved it. And just going through the book, I think I sent you a DM or something, and I was just like, I know, like, I'm Aaron, but Hickory is my guy. Like I just related with him so much, especially as the book went on and on. So Hickory, just that, artistic, soft-spoken demeanor that he has, I identified with for sure. I mean, I could be cool guy Aaron sometimes. you never know.
Totally.
Yeah. And as far as finding me online, I have a website, alecmarshvo.com, and an Instagram, alecmarshvo.
Yes. And if you guys are you guys are watching and you are an author looking for audiobook narrators, like go follow these guys, connect with them, consider them for your future projects. Especially, I was just talking to Alec before this, and he's like, I've got my whole summer, like I'm open, like let's do this. So just putting that plug out there for you guys too. Also here, let's just chat with and pull up so we can see our lovely faces a little bit closer. And I'm just gonna pull up some of the comments and say hi to you guys. Hi, Mary. And I'm also gonna ask Talon and Alec if they see any of your guys' questions, either if it's for them or for me. and I miss them. I'm gonna hopefully they can help us catch all the questions or the fun comments I miss. Yes, can't wait to listen to the audiobook. Thanks, Allie. Talon is amazing. Love listening to book one while I work. So fun. And Allie says she loves Vale, always Vale. Let's see, Rachel. I love them all, but I have a soft spot for Vale. Oh, I love this. I really loved Hickory's perspective in book 2. Fabulous. Favorite character, Vale. She's my queen. Wow. Okay, so from book 1, people were like, Vale is like okay, but I like all these other people. And I think after reading book 2, a lot of people have a lot of love for Vale, and that makes me just so happy. We got some Quinn love. Love Talon's Hickory in book 1 for sure. That's insane. Alec looks like Jeremy Jordan. Who is
Agreed.
Jeremy Jordan?
I don't know who that is.
He's the musical theater guy.
Oh.
What did he's done everything. Yeah, it's a compliment.
Oh, it's a
yeah, just to like clarify, it's a compliment.
I look him up and it's just Cookie Monster or something. Like,
we're gonna look into that. That's so fun. Question: did Talon and Alec know the characters' Enneagram types? Talon was able to capture Vale's Enneagram 3 snootiness and Alice's Enneagram 9 peaceful cadence really well. Did we talk about the Enneagram? I don't know that we did.
No. Do you have, like, would you have that answer?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Alec, do you know about the Enneagram?
I don't.
So it's like a personality test for anybody else who doesn't know. It's like, what are the other ones? Like the 16 personality type thing.
Myers-Briggs.
Anyway, Myers-Briggs. That's what.
Yeah.
Thank you, brain. But yeah, so I would say for those of you who know, Quinn is definitely an 8. In my head. Vale was harder to pin down, but I kind of pinged her as like a 3 wing 2. Alice was a 9 wing 1. Aaron was a 2 wing 3, I think. And then Hickory was a 4 wing 5, I think. Yeah. So that's kind of the lowdown, if that means anything to anyone.
Very cool.
Cool. And we have more love for Alice. And I've loved Vale since book 1. Where have all of you people been? Yes, I love that. And then, wow, that's even more amazing that Talon and Alec didn't know the Enneagram types were able to capture their essence. That's talent. You guys are talented. Love it. Cool.
It's good writing too.
And the what?
we just read the book and got that from it. You know?
Yes, right, exactly. I'm not okay. There we go. This is what I wanted. Sorry, guys. All right, cool. So we're going to keep moving on. This is again non-spoilery, a little section of just some fun news that I wanted to share with you guys. Some of this news is public knowledge, and some of it is being announced here first. So if you're here you go, which is very exciting. And then we're going to get into all the chat stuff. So here we go. Some non-spoiler news. This is public, obviously said in the beginning, but the audiobook is here. You guys are in for a treat if you haven't listened to it, because these two have done an incredible job. I've already listened to it practically twice because I listened to it on my vacation, and I just have so much fun with it. And if you've listened to it already, let us know your thoughts in the comments, especially if you want to say anything directly to Talon and Alec about their performances. I'm sure they would love to hear it. Number 2 is that since pre-orders closed, signed copies have been closed in my Etsy store, but signed copies are back. And some copies have a major discount, like cheaper than Amazon. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons why, but they're perfect copies. There's just like this bonus fun. It's kind of a fun thing that go to Etsy. I explain it all there, and you can get some signed copies with art prints at a very big discount. The Etsy store is linked down below if you're interested. Also, new merch is in the works. It's coming at some point. If you see here, if you've seen my other merch store, I had different kind of wings on the backs of the shirts that were more like cartoony. I had them redesigned by a wonderful artist, and I'm working on getting some new merch for you guys with these really cool kind of more simplified wings, and so they're really fun. Hope you like them. Sorry, I'm like trying to get to the book chat part, but this is really fun too. This has not been announced anywhere except my Discord reader community. I have new art that I want to show you guys tonight for the characters, and the first round of art is from side characters. We're going to see Gaius, Wit. Some of you have seen a depiction of Toma, but this is going to be another depiction of Toma. But we get to see them for the first time. So ready? Drum roll. Here is Gaius. So he's got his white hair. He's pictured over here with Quinn. The twins are reunited. And yeah, if you want to say in the chat, what you guys
That
think of
is
it, but the
sick.
wonderful, right?
That is
So
sick.
cool. I'm so glad you like it. Yeah, art by Jordan on Instagram. She's amazing. She did all the other, I'll show like them all in a group shot in a little bit. But she did the other art in this style. Love working with her. And yeah, he just looks epic. I'm really excited for you guys. Wow, I almost said a spoiler. So I'm not going to say it yet. And let's see, I'm going to show you Wit. So I actually didn't have Wit fully formulated in my brain in book 1. She's not described very much except her like little stubby horns, and that she's part sylph. She's got feather wings, but I didn't say what color or anything, or even her skin tone. Like I just went in there and I was like, wow, I did not describe her at all. So I had to make a lot of decisions in book 2, and this is kind of what we came up with. And I do describe her a little bit more in book 2, so you do get these details. But she's super fun. So now Quinn has her former first mate in this shot here. And then we have Toma, and of course I had to put Toma with Alice, but we've got the epic Toma. And so yeah, let me know what you guys think of all of them. I'll put the comments on real fast, but here's all of them as a group shot. And I'm addicted to commissioning art now. It's just a thing. It just needs to be in my budget. Yes. So let's see. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, okay. Love. Gaius does look like Hickory. Ha. Well, they both have white hair. That's for sure. Over the Moon. That's amazing. Wow. That's exactly how I imagined Gaius. I love that. I love her design. Love that Wit's just, sorry, I can't read. Depiction captures her attitude. Yes, we tried to do that. They look so cool together. So cool. Yay. I'm so glad you guys like him. So yeah, so that's my news. But we also have couple art that literally just got finished today, and I'm not going to share it right now because I know some of you maybe haven't read book 2 yet. You guys are going to duck out in a second, but it's going to come up as we talk through the story, and oh my gosh, I'm in love with it. So good. So stay tuned for that. But now we're going to talk about book 2, and I hope you guys are super excited. Again, my narrators, ask them any questions, ask me any questions, but most of all, yeah, share your thoughts about the story as we go through each part, because we're going to go through each of the 6 parts. I'm going to give you a very quick kind of synopsis. You can see it on the screen of the things that happened in part 1. Oh, and if you haven't read part 2, this is the time to leave, go away, okay? And then you can come back. I'm so sorry I didn't say that first, but I mean, it's the first couple chapters. It's not that big of a spoiler. But yes, so if you are still here, hopefully you have read all through book 2 and you can chat with us about all the things. So in part 1, Council of Crowns, it's a month after the Ethidine. We only have 4 POVs in this first part. Quinn starts out with Vale and Prentice on the Queen's Voyager. The art kind of got over the next line, but we have that moment at the end with Quinn and Aaron kind of fixing the sail as well and kind of seeing their relationship for the first time. Then we have Vale's first POV. We get a new POV right away. Her moments with the Sylph Pixies that kind of are like the mean girls, like roles have reversed. She was the mean girl, and now there's new mean girls kind of going after her. We have her first moment with Hickory. We have Ronan, the goblin that's kind of introduced, the former pirate goblin, and then her time with her mother in the dungeons. Then we have Hickory's first POV. We get to know his new eye issues that are kind of coming up, and we have that whole council meeting where we hear a lot about what's going on in the world and also personal issues with each of them. And then we have the heart-wrenching 4th chapter with Aaron and Quinn. I think Talon's rolling her eyes. I know, I'm sorry. But we have Aaron's news with Arista's blackmail, and then Aaron's request to Quinn to give me a reason to stay. And yes, that last chapter hurt for sure. I'm so sorry. So anyway, I'm going to launch us into what were your favorite parts of this section, you guys? What were your thoughts? What were your reactions? Do you have any questions? And I can kick us off with a couple behind the scenes things, unless my narrators have any. You guys want to kick us off with any thoughts, any favorites, any memories from recording or anything? Let me know.
I remember doing my first read through, and when I got during Hickory's chapter, when he goes into more depth about losing more sight in his eye. I remember like highlighting it, underlining it, bolding it, because I knew that for him, that is like an essential part of his character. And then ever since that was introduced to like the plot, just every time he would look around and look at his surroundings, like really try and deliver it as if he was like him, like he was looking around and he might not be able to see these things again. So that's just one thing I remember when I saw, you know, when I remember Hickory's first POV and him saying those lines about how he's losing sight. It was pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think you portrayed that really well. Like, yeah, I just felt his like, like what's going on? Like I can't live without this kind of deal. So I loved it. Cool, cool,
I
cool.
think this part
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
me, yeah, I'll add something here. I think this part for me, it was just so exciting to get back into these characters because it had been 3 years since we did the first book. So I was like,
Sorry.
oh my gosh, we're back. And just like narrating all of the heirs again, all 5 of them together was so special. And then also like narrating in Vale's point of view with the conversation with her mom. I thought, because that's really, I think, was that the only conversation she had with Gwendolyn that kind of set the stage
Yes.
for the
Yeah,
rest
you
of
don't
the
really
plot?
see Gwendolyn again until like the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So that for me, kind of like Alec was saying, that moment was really big for Hickory. I knew that this is bringing light to a lot of questions people were probably left with the last book about like, wait, how is Vale really feeling about her mom now being in jail after being like her number one supporter and Vale wanting to step into her shoes. So,
Right.
yeah, I thought that was like, I knew that was going to be really important. And then of course the scene with Aaron and Quinn, I was like, I love narrating this devastating scene. It's delicious.
A lot of meat, a lot of tension, and yes, all the
Yes.
things in there.
Yes. And letting it not, because knowing Quinn's character enough, like, I'm so glad that you didn't like that they weren't hot and heavy right from the start. You know, it's like, no, she has a lot of baggage and a lot of fear, and dealing with fear throughout this whole book, I thought was a really, really amazing theme. You know, even though it's a fantasy story, I think we all can relate to all the different kinds of fears that are related in this story. So
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm glad that it like connected with you. Yeah, because like I I want to entertain, obviously, but like yeah, the deeper themes are really where me as an author is like let's get there, you know, as well. And like yeah, we'll talk about it, but like all these characters have such like these moments where they have to overcome their fear. They have to, you know, like fight the lies. I think, and that was like a big theme for me is like fighting the lies in your life and needing your friends to like kind of help you do that. And real relationships, like that's why there's like such slow burns going on in this story because like I mean I can relate it to like my own experience with my husband and just like you know the different things that happen in real relationships that you have to figure out, you have to work through, you have to anyway. So sorry to everybody that like I even got a comment from somebody recently that was like I loved this book, I was just a little disappointed that there was no kissing scene and I'm like I'm sorry, it didn't feel right, but I promise there's more coming. But it's like yeah, it's like we needed to be true to the characters and where they're at.
there's plenty of swoon, though. Somehow you
Oh,
still made it swoony, a different
thank
part.
you.
But I'm sure we'll get to that. But you know.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. I love it. Let's see. Loved when Prentice was trying to get Quinn to follow the Queen's tradition. I was like, poor guy. Love that you were feeling bad for him.
Yeah, good luck.
He's not supposed to be a sympathetic character.
He was kind of rude too, but I was hoping that he was like the kind of like this comedic relief, like in that first part of the story, and kind of getting to see some more selves, which was fun. Losing eyesight is bad enough for an artist is especially heartbreaking. As a type 4 Enneagram 4, I related so hard to Hickory's fears and feelings. I love that you can relate and that connected with you. I love seeing how Quinn and Vale's friendship has grown right at the beginning of the book. So this is where I'm trying to like cater some of my behind the scenes based on like what you guys are bringing up, because I could be here like probably for hours talking about behind the scenes. I might even create like a whole behind the scenes guide for this book, because there is a behind the scenes guide for book 1 that's like 40 pages long or something, and you can download it for free. The link is down below, by the way. If you don't have that, you should get it. It's really fun. I put a lot of work into it, but there's so much that I could share with you guys. But yeah, I'll try to cater it to what you guys are bringing up, because Vale wasn't even in scene 1 to begin with. It was just Quinn and Prentice, and then Aaron showed up, and it was just this feeling as I was going through edits and getting feedback from betas that they were also like, they wanted to see more of Quinn and Vale's relationship, and I was like, you know what, she really should be in this first scene, and we should see like their dynamic a little bit more. And I think Talon really like mastered that balance between like Vale being like, Quinn, like get it together, and also like, okay, but you're my friend, and like I'm trying to have grace with you at the same time. So I'm glad that you liked having her there. Also, let's see, I guess I'm the only one here that knew nothing of these books. I've seen Brittany on Bethany's channel, but I'm not familiar with Brittany's books. Okay, yes, so you're getting a lot of spoilers if you're still here. Definitely go read book 1, and you can interact with us when you read book 2. But hopefully you enjoyed them. Thanks for being here. Brittany writes, great relatable fantasy. You forget they have wings. Fairies are just like us. I love that. That's so cute. So fun. And as a behind the scenes lover, yes, please, all the behind the scenes details. Cool. Love that Quinn and Vale were in chapter 1. They seem more like sisters than friends. That's what I was hoping for. And they bicker like sisters, right? And I'll put in a couple extra behind the scenes things for you guys. You guys can comment on them if you want. But then we'll move on to part 2. So I just wanted to say too, if you haven't heard me talk about this, okay, there was only supposed to be one more book. This was supposed to be a duology. And so book 2 got so big that I actually broke it up into 3 books. So what you've read in book 2 is really like the first part of book 2. And I had to really work to like make sure that it felt like its own book. But part of what happened with this first part of like part 1 was actually like 1 or 2 chapters just from Quinn's perspective originally, as like kind of like a prologue, and it was meant to be like, this is what's been going on since like the Ethidine ended, and like kind of introduce the whole Aaron conflict and then get into the story. And my earliest readers, my critique partner was like, hey, like you're gonna have multi POVs, like because then it was also Quinn's POV like right after that, and she was just like, if you're gonna have multi POVs, you should probably have them like introduced pretty quickly. And I was like, oh shoot, now I have to like work this out and like rearrange things. And but I'm really glad I did, because you get Vale like right away, and then Hickory. But because of that, the prologue-y part, first beginning of the story, like turned into 4 chapters, and so it kind of takes a little bit to get into like the main like action of the story. But that's kind of why that's there, and I feel like it did really like serve the like introducing the perspectives and kind of getting you into their heads for the first time. And then what else did I want to share here? I talked a little bit about the heartbreaking last scene there, but definitely like it needed to be set up for the rest of the book. And then I actually already talked about that. Okay, cool. All right, I think we can probably move on, which is great. Oh, and before we completely move on, we do have a comment. I love that you added more POVs in book 2. Book 1 was more of Quinn's inner journey from the beginning, a loner who fears vulnerability and learning to trust others. Book 2 being an ensemble makes more sense. I'm so glad. It was a labor of love to make it work. Before we get into the next part, since we've now introduced or started talking about the Hickory, like you start to get kind of Hickory's, obviously his crush on Vale, but then you kind of get to see Vale starting to be like, wait, I'm starting to see him in a different light. He's doing things that are making me like feel things I haven't felt before. And obviously we have Quinn and Aaron art. So I want to introduce this now, and then we'll get to Alice and Toma when their POVs are introduced. But first we have Quinn and Aaron art, couple art. I'm very excited. Hope you guys like it. Here we are. We have, I'm going to make it actually big. So we have, I kind of wanted different moments from like book 1 and book 2. So the first one is supposed to be Quinn and Aaron kind of rivals vibes. And then we have the scene in book 2, where he kisses her hand at the welcome feast. And then the third one's supposed to be their almost kiss in the closet when they're hiding and trying to get out of the palace. And then finally their actual kiss, but that's from book 1. But I kind of did the formation of like, you know, from enemies, rivals to, you know, more. So the wonderful Valeria Villaris, I think that's how you pronounce it, on Instagram. You can check it out on Instagram. She did an amazing job. I think you all, are 100%. You're like, yes. Okay. Love that you guys are loving it. Audiobook narrators, thoughts, because you guys are here live. What do you, any?
Yes.
Yes.
I look great.
I yes, you do. Yes, you do. So I was very, very happy with this. She literally just finished it today, and I'm just so thrilled with it. So obviously we've seen a lot of Quinn and Aaron though. So are you guys ready to see some Hickory and Vale, because they are also major players in this story? And I did the same thing where I kind of picked a couple moments. One moment specifically from book 1, and then 3 moments from book 2. Drum roll. Ta-da! All right, so we've got, at the beginning, we've got this really cute, like, Hickory sketching Vale, and she has no idea, and she's just working with her potions. And then the second one is the scene with the shirt and the buttons, and them, like, their first, like, kind of moment where they're just like, oh my gosh, like, we're having feelings. And then the third one's supposed to be them kind of experiencing their magic working together in the scene where Pilo left them alone to figure that out. And the final one, obviously, is him saving her in Dust Barrow. Oh, shoot, I keep picking the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. So anyway, so that is that. You guys, what do you guys think audiobook-wise, my narrators, as I pull up some comments?
I love it. I love the soft expression on Vale's face, because these are rare moments for her.
Yes. Yep. She's actually happy.
Is it bad? I mean, we've seen so much, and you have more fan art of Aaron and Quinn, but I was jumping right now. Like that's awesome. Like that.
Oh, good.
I mean, we've seen them, you know, we've seen Aaron and Quinn a bunch, and this is the first couple pictures you have of. Yeah, this is sick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, I've had like separate pictures of them that I've like kind of like put together, like that have no backgrounds, and I put them side by side. But this is like, the first like couple picture. So let's see. Oh, it's so amazing. Yes. Oh my God, it's so adorable. Okay, I'm obsessed. I love them. Yeah, I think you guys, I love the art style. I may have to commission them. Yes. She's amazing. Do it. 10 out of 10. I love them. Vickery. Okay, so just so you know, people have been saying Vickery. Somebody also said Valkyrie. And I was like, yes, Vale or Val and the curry from Hickory, Valkyrie. I'm like, for me, that's their ship name. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm as excited about that.
It is up to you.
It's a ship thing, so it's kind of up to the fans. So I'm okay giving it to the fans, but pick Valkyrie. The magical and emotional connection scene, yes. Sketch one is my favorite. So cute, breathtaking. I like that better too. Yes. So thank you guys. We will see Alice and Toma very soon, but I'm just so excited about this stuff and being able to share that very soon. But you guys, except for the people who are in my Discord community who saw it earlier today, you guys are the first to see this. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. So moving right along to part 2, I almost said book 2. Part 2, Queen of Nightmares. And just to give you guys a little recap, we jumped again in the timeline 1 month later. All of our people are kind of separated except Quinn. Well, Quinn and Vale are together in Eldor, right? Hickory has been in Tartarus with Alice. And then we have Aaron, who's been on his own. Poor guy. I put him through so much in this book, in Isinglass. And so Quinn has her nightmare again for the first time, but it's different, right? There's some different things that happen. Then she's thrown into her coronation parade. She had this cute little I call it the save the cat moment with this cute little pixie girl that, impersonates her, and she finally feels like somebody believes in her. And then the goblins come in and ruin it all, with Ronan and the birds going crazy, and the goblin leader showing up with his mask, and we kind of don't know who he is, but some of you are guessing at this point. And then the Sylph nobles just kind of throttle them and attack them verbally. But then Quinn gets whisked off to do magic training with Pylo, and kind of learn more about her fire and her magic. And then we've got Hickory, who comes in to help. We find out Hickory, Gaius, and Pylo are all seers, and Hickory brings Quinn into the dreamscape. And they try to contact Gaius, but it doesn't fully work, and there's even this ominous blood looking thing, and they're just like, what is going on? And then Vale comes in, and Hickory, Quinn, and Vale start walking, and they get Aaron's wedding invite. So that kind of falls on them, and Quinn is spiraling, and then her father shows up. This poor girl has to deal with her father, who's, I think, redeeming himself a little bit. I hope you guys feel. And then Alice, in her POV, we have Toma speaking for the first time. We find out that he speaks. We see Wit, and we see that Alice can actually feel people's emotions. Alice starts talking to Quinn without touching her, so that's kind of revealed. But then we find out that Quinn is able to hear Toma's voice through Alice as well. So there's a lot of things going on in this part. Love to hear your guys' thoughts of what were some of your favorite things. I'm just gonna point to my narrators again and ask you guys if you want to kick us off a little bit. And then
what
you
a
guys
day
in the
for
chat,
Quinn.
let us. Yes,
that
right?
What Talon, I don't know how you did that, but that was like an emotional roller coaster to read. So I'm sure narrating that just nonstop. I was like, oh, she's gonna get a break now, right? Oh, they attacked. And, oh yeah, now she's just gonna rest. Oh no, it's training, and so much. But it was incredible.
It's fun to read, but yeah, you feel bad, right? You feel
bad
for her.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got to take breaks, so
yes,
that was fine.
I love it.
I think specifically though, I loved, because a lot of this I think is still set up for Quinn figuring out how she wants to rule, and how she, it's kind of a self-image, how she sees herself within the world and within her place. And I think especially having suddenly this month in between, we kind of have to have a little bit more setup again. And we're all like, what happened with Aaron? Where is he? Why is there no communication? And I loved reading the invitation scene. I thought the dynamic between Quinn, Vale, and Hickory there was really special. And then, of course, Alice speaking her first chapter. And we went back and forth on that one, trying to get it right, making sure that it captured her in a different way than Quinn, and just making sure they were distinct. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. And I'm glad we took that time to really zero in. And, also creating a voice for Toma that was different and distinct. And I haven't done a male voice quite where I've placed Toma's voice before. So that was kind of fun. I'm like, ooh, a new part of my face.
A new pocket. You're exploring. Yeah. I love that. And I will share one behind the scenes thing, is that, we got to this point where Talon was now coming up with new voices. A lot of, in the beginning, was figuring out, okay, hey, Alec, these are the voices that Talon created. Have fun figuring out what they sound like in your voice. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit, but it was so fun to do also. But then it was also shoot, now we have these completely new voices that now either Talon or both Talon and Alec, or just Alec, because you also have the silver tongue voice that we don't hear in Talon's voice. How does that go? And we got to Toma, and I was like, oh, I know Talon, I usually give you a vocal example, a person to kind of go off of, and I didn't really have one. And I was looking, and if you guys have ever watched Vampire Diaries, I was like Damon is the closest thing that I can think of to Toma, because because he's not as evil as Damon, but he has this like beastly kind of side to him where he's just like, I'm willing to like, do not touch her kind of deal, touch her and die. But then there's also, he's such like a puppy dog for Elena, the main character in that TV show, and is so sweet with her, and he in his like sarcasm and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, can you channel Damon? And poor Talon was like, I've never watched this show, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. That doesn't help you, but I sent her some clips of him, and I think that helped, because when you came back with his voice, I was just like, yes, this is it, it's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I think I watched a little of that, but then also I try to kind of come up with what I call a character map of like, and after I prep something, it's like, okay, what characters are going to be in the same scene together, and what dynamic range of voices are we going to have? Like, how high do I need to go? I don't want to have two high-pitched voices in the same scene, or two like low-pitched voices, as much as I can control that. So coming up with a new voice, I'm like, okay, he needs to be a lower tone than any of the rest of the guys, because Hickory is higher, and then Aaron is more mid-range. So he needs to be a baritone, just, because at some point I'm sure they're all going to be talking at the same time.
We will get there.
So it's like, I need him to be lower pitch. And then also, because most of his dialogue was going to be with Alice, who's an alto.
Yeah, she's lower too, yeah.
And more mellow voiced. He needed to have a different kind of attack. And I do think he was more attack based with his tone. So coming at it with more of this, and so then that would create more of a change between Alice's really mellow reading of that whole narration, that kind of break it up a little bit. So yeah, that's, I guess, a little behind the scenes of that.
I love that. Yeah. And even, we find out he's Gwillian. So it's, I think that like also like moved into like, okay, like he's got like this spunky, like more hard, I don't know how to describe it, words are escaping me, but Gwillian-ness about him that we need to come through as well. And it was so funny because like people were reading it and like talking to me as they were reading it for the first time, and some people were like, he does not sound like a dragon. Like, I do not think like dragons' voices would sound like this. And then they get to the point where they find out he's a fairy, and they're just like, oh, this is why, perfect. So it will make sense, right? And let's see, Toma is Damon with scales. That tracks. Yes, awesome, I love it. Super excited to hear Toma now. Yes, go listen to the audiobook. It's such a treat. It's so fun. Alec, anything else you wanted to share before I dive into a couple of behind the scenes things?
Yeah, I meant to touch on this in the last part, but the POVs, I mean, they were just so enthralling when it first started switching between them. Like, I just want to applaud you, because I think I might have texted you about this too, but just like the way that each one is written is just so true to how that character would think and speak. And it just made it so much easier to narrate, because I would do the voice, but you are giving me what to say. And it was just melding those two together with the voice and with how they're talking. It just made you fall into the character so much more easily. So yeah, the POVs, like, it's almost like action in itself. Like, I think you said like it was a little slow burn in the beginning, but like, no, like hopping between the POVs was so engaging from the beginning.
Oh, good. Yay. Oh, that makes me so happy, because I worked so hard. Like I was like, I do not want to do multi POV if I can't master the characters, right? And just to share a bit, because someone did ask like, who was your favorite to like write, like which POV, and I don't know that I have a favorite to write, because I had so much fun like delving into all of them. But I will say that obviously Quinn was easiest, because I wrote a whole book in her POV. But when I got into like the nitty gritty of like figuring out kind of like how you guys have described, like, when I come up with this voice, I do this, and I do, like, I had to have certain things for me that like were specifically those characters. And so even more than like Vale's, like, okay, she's like British and she has certain words that she's not really British, but like, the accent, she has certain proper words that she would say, that even though she has a similar personality to Quinn in the sense of like, she's like very, like, you know, in your face sometimes. Like she says other words that like Quinn would never say. But then with Hickory and Alice, it was really fun to kind of delve into them because Hickory has this whole artistry, right? And so I was just like, how does he see the world? Like how, when he describes something, how does it relate to like, you know, paint or, you know, a canvas, or like how, you know, the just how art like kind of moves together and lives and breathes and all that kind of stuff. And so it was really fun to like delve into that. And then Alice, when I realized, because I didn't know this until while I was writing book 2, that she feels other people's emotions, is that I had to figure out like, what does that feel for her? And it was fun to kind of like relate that to her experience living in nature and animals and plants, and kind of grounding that and calling that like her inner forest, and like how she like kind of experiences everybody's emotions. As I'm thinking about that, like I will say that like there were certain things about the characters that I knew before. Like I knew from book 1 that Hickory and Gaius were seers. Like that was set up with like Hickory's like, you know, painting, and Gaius coming into Quinn's dreams and all of that stuff. But like Alice, like there was so much, like I didn't even know that Toma was going to be her love interest until I was really delving into the book. And like I knew that he was going to, I think I knew in book 1 that he could talk to her. I don't even know. That's kind of fuzzy actually. But like as I like played with that, I was like, wait a minute. Like this dynamic is too fun. And then I was just like, what if he's a fairy? Like what if like could I do this? And like playing with that idea. And then Alice, you know, her magic, you know, starts off in just like healing and kind of experiencing memories. But I was like, how does that work? And like her empathness like led me to like feeling others' emotions and like all of that stuff. So it's really interesting. Somebody was just asking like, can you talk more about like the writing process and stuff? It's really interesting. I plotted out a lot of the series when I wrote book 1, but there's things that you get into and you start like working on, you get feedback, and you're just like, wait a minute, no, like this is a lot deeper than this. Like this, you know, this is now going to happen. And I had to go back and like, is this consistent with book 1? And it was so fun to like read past scenes with Alice and Toma in book 1 and be like, oh yeah, he's snarky. Oh yeah, like he has this personality. Oh yeah, he could totally be a fairy. Like this is going to track. And so anyway, so those are just some things that I thought might be fun to hear. Let's see. I would love how you explain the process you did. It's so cool. Thanks, Tanya. Absolutely agree. I'm so amazed narrators can keep the voices consistent and yet nuanced. All my voices would either sound the same or I'd start drifting into another's voice while voicing one character. It's so cool. Yeah. And these guys like were very consistent and just did awesome. And then love hearing about these nuances and how everyone gets in the headspace for writing and narrating. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it. It was fun to like kind of delve into the different behind the scenes things. Isn't it great when your own book can surprise you? Yes. And the characters just like do their own thing and you're just like, what are you doing? Let me just see if there's anything else I want to share. And again, I'll work on a more in-depth behind the scenes guide because there's like so much that I could talk about. Let me see. Someone said when we were talking about the book, because I was doing like a read along in our Discord reader community, and they were saying that Pilo, especially in the training scenes with Quinn, was giving Yoda vibes. And I was like, like I guess I see that, but Yoda's a lot more cuddly. I actually really more so based him off of the older Luke Skywalker, who ends up training Rey in the final Star Wars series. And so I don't know if that tracks with anybody, but that was kind of one. He's like a little more grumpy at that point, and but still trying to train a spunky, you know, crazy little girl. And then one fun little fact is that so Hickory talks about his friendship with Gaius and how that all started. And that section, when I first drafted it, could have been its own chapter. Like I just like went all out and I was just like, well, then this happened, then this happened. And so I have all these side stories that I would love to tell you guys at some point. So if they're like things and POVs that like you'd love to see at some point, I have a whole running list. So if you'd like to hear more about like Hickory's growing friendship with Gaius and how that all went down with, he thought he was dead and then he wasn't, and he found out about the betrayal and all that stuff, I have all of that. It's there. I just have to write it out for you guys. And I have a backstory for Maverick, and I have a backstory for Gwen. I have all these like short story kind of things that I'd love to give you guys at some point. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And then okay, I guess I could say I think I'm gonna stop with this, is that I did not expect you guys to love Hickory as much as you do. And like, I think it came out even more in the second book, and I think the portrayal that Alec does is just spot on. And I just wanted to share a fun tidbit about book one, is that when I handed off book one to my developmental editor, she actually was like, she's like, I know like Aaron's like kind of like the quintessential like love interest, and I actually hadn't delved too much into his backstory. Like I needed to beef that up to really like make him even a stronger love interest. But she was like, I actually think it'd be really interesting to make Hickory the love interest. And I was just like, at that point I was like, no, Quinn sees him as a brother like figure, like, and there's so many similarities with Gaius, I feel like it would not work. But I was like honored that like she would want like more of like this, you know, not quintessential love interest, like more like quirky, nerdy kind of guy. I thought she was like kind of off her rocker. And then, you know, I get book one out there, and especially book two, and people are like, I love Hickory. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it makes me so happy, because I think that even though I say that Aaron has similarities to my husband, there's so much of my husband that I also put into Hickory. So much, like he was like total underdog, like I friend zoned him so hard for so long. And I just feel like, yeah, guys like Hickory like need their moment to shine. So I'm really glad that he has his moment to shine in this book. And now I'm like, my wheels are turning about like love interest in the future. I'm like, can a guy like this, like, do you guys want love interest like this to be like the main love interest in the future? Let me know. Jacqueline was one of my early betas, and she said, I can attest that Brittany worked her tail off on those POVs. This was about the POV stuff, and it paid off. Yeah, and your feedback was so helpful, Jacqueline. Thank you. Okay, you guys want to know more about the backstories and lore? I love it. Of course, we need more Gaius. And honestly, I could see it. I love it. Cool. Okay, so as we move into part 3, before we do, we have some Alice and Toma art, okay? And we have multiple things, because first we have Alice with her dragon Toma. And this is from Valeria as well. I thought she did a fabulous job with this. But we also have Toma in his fairy form. And I know you guys didn't get to see it in book 2, but I asked a bunch of my readers on Discord, and I was like, do you guys want to see what he looks like? Because it might be like another year or so until you can like have a description of him. And everybody, I was like, is it like too big of a spoiler? And they were like, no, like we want to know. And so if you do not want to know, you can just turn your computer, like turn the screen off, look away, close your eyes. But I am going to show there's two sections of art that I'm going to show you that reveals 2 artist depictions of what I gave them for Toma as fairy. And yeah, so you can kind of go into book 3 knowing that you're going to see him eventually look like this. So spoil away. Yes, people are excited. Okay, let's go. I love it. Okay, here we go. Ready? So this is the first depiction that Jordan did with the first style of art. And so here he is.
Oh,
Master Toma. And I love Talon's expression already. But yeah, so here, I wanted him not to look like the other 2. And he needed to look like impressive because he's this dragon and his personality and everything like that. And like, I don't know, I guess I kind of went like a little Hispanic vibes, and just like he also has, but he's got darker skin with the piercing green eyes, which I think is a fun dynamic. So yes, woo, you guys are excited.
Well done.
Yeah,
yes. Well done. Yes.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Good. You guys love him. I'm great. Alec, as the guy in the room, your thoughts?
I'd have to agree with the chat here. Definitely agree.
Love it.
He looks awesome.
He does. And they're so cute together. Okay, now we get Valeria's, I'm so sorry, Valeria, if you're watching this later and I'm mispronouncing your name, but we get her art with the 2 of them, and it has some moments that are to come. And so get excited about these moments to come. So
Yeah.
we have, I'll make it big. So we have up at the top, we have kind of like their friendship kind of vibes. And then we have what I wanted this second one to be was like her seeing him as a fairy for the first time and kind of being like, whoa. And then we have him comforting her, which kind of it has the vibes of book one. There's definitely a lot of him comforting her, but like the actual physical comfort that will then come in the future, because Alice does go through some stuff in this next book that she will need Toma for. And then we have finally they dance together because Toma has been talking about wanting to dance with her, and I think I'm gonna have to work in some kind of them dancing together scene. I don't currently have one planned, but after this I'm working one into book 3 or book 4.
She'd
So
have
we've
to like
got,
teach him to dance.
yes,
Ah!
yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, because he's got like 2 left feet because he's never had 2 feet before, just 4. So yes, oh my gosh, I'm writing that down. Yes, thank you, Talon. This is why I love talking to my readers.
For this.
You guys give me the best stuff. I'm so glad. Yes. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Stop. I can't. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This is my favorite. Oh, they dance together, my heart. Yes. So I'm just loving all of this so much. And I'm basically, you guys have read book 2, so this is like total spoiler, but like, because he's a fairy, my plan is to like reveal it on Instagram, but to be like, this is Alice's love interest. Not giving a name, not saying who it is. Anybody who says in the comments, I'm deleting your comment. But you have something to look forward to. And then they're going to be like totally shocked when they're like, wait a minute, this is the dragon. So yes, I'm very excited. Alec, you didn't get to say anything about this. Do you have any thoughts about this one?
The one that jumped out at me was them hugging. Like, I mean, because that is just the look on Alice's face is a perfect encapsulation of just like when I read her chapters, like how I see her, like she's just so vulnerable and so emotional, and like that, like I want them to have that dramatic hug, please, in the third book. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. It's coming. This one's already in there. It's planned. And I wanted her to capture his face of just like holding tight to her and just being like determined to like hold her together the way that she's always holding everybody else together. I'm so glad you love that. Fangirling so hard right now. Author Talon, yes, girl. Author Talon, yeah. Talon, you want to write the next book with me? Toma gonna do the dragon dance. I love it. Cool. Okay, we are already an hour in and we're just entering part 3. Again, you guys should just know this with me. I plan too much. I'm so sorry. But hopefully you're still having fun. Hopefully you'll stick around with us for a couple more parts and we'll wrap things up. Also, he very much has to touch her and die vibes. I love it. Yes. And he has that moment at the end of book 2 as well. So we'll move right along, and I told my narrators if it gets too late for them and they're just crashing, they can duck out, and you guys can duck out, but we're gonna try to power through and talk a little bit more about book 2. Let's see, girl, we're talking books. We're good. I'm so here for it. Great. Thank you for making me feel better about keeping you guys for a while. So part 3, Dance of Hearts. Also, these part titles, I came up very late in the game. It was like a month or 2 before I was like handing it off to ARC readers and my narrators, and I was just like, these parts need names, just like the book 1 has part names. So it was really fun to come up with these, and obviously we have Dance of Hearts because there's this whole like a lot of dancing and scenes in this. So we have Aaron, we finally get his first POV. I'm so sorry it took so long. Like in book 1, you don't get him entering the story till chapter 8, and I didn't get him till chapter 10. I promise you, he is, well, right now in the draft of book 3, he is in scene 1. But his POV, I think his POV is number 3. I think it's 3. I think. So you'll get him earlier. But we're at the welcome feast. We see his parents, Kaito, but Delphine, yay! And Arista, we finally get to hear more from her because she literally had one line in book 1. So Arista, and it was so great because Alec is the first one who gets to voice her. And I thought he just did such a fun job with her attitude and just mean girlness. So anyway, moving on. Niall and Tal are back, and Finn are back. I will just say real quick too that Niall was in one scene in the original draft. Tal was not. Finn was not in this book at all, and I can talk about it a little bit in a bit, but yeah, they were added later, and I just feel like they needed to be there, so they're there. And then obviously we also have like the group kind of arriving and Aaron kissing Quinn's hand and all of that. And then Alice, Toma beasts out, right? There's something going wrong with Toma. We see her fight Kaito's silver tongue with her actual, mental weapon, which we can talk about a little bit. And then she has a talk with her father, and we have Layman, who comes back, which I know a lot of you is like favorite side character. I'm wondering if you guys want to see character art of him, because he's another one on my list to get some character art. And then we have Hickory's POV. He desperately wants to dance with Vale in this scene, but his demoniacal father comes in and interrupts it. And Quinn is trying to get out of the feast, but these Gwillian guards show up and force her to dance with her father. So they have this whole dance scene. She dances with Layman, and that's a whole scene we can talk about. And then she gets spun right into Aaron's arms. There's a whole dance scene with Quinn that terribly ends because she steals his engagement rings, and then he has this whole talk with Finn planning to propose to her. And then Quinn talks a little bit with Finn trying to get away. Arista intercepts. They have their whole scene. Then we finally have Vale and Hickory with the fixing of the buttons scene, which was so fun, and just their first moment really together. Alice is also on the island with Toma visiting. There's a little bit of romantic hits in there. And then we hit this council dreamscape scene where you get to see them go into the dreamscape and this whole thing that Hickory and Alice have created for them and how they're going to use it. Aaron has a failed proposal to Quinn. Another heart-wrenching scene. I'm so sorry. And then we end with Quinn's reaction to that whole proposal, and then falling asleep and entering this epic dream with Maverick and Gaius showing up, and this time running out with this hourglass tattoo. All the craziness kind of breaks through. So I'm going to pick on my narrators again to see if you guys have any thoughts. And then I'll go to comments and share any other behind the scenes stuff. Guys have any memories of this?
Yeah, I said that I was originally cast for Aaron. So when I first started reading it, I was like really excited to get to his first POV. And I kept reading chapter 1, 2, 3. I'm like, okay, like, oh, we're at part 2 now. Let's go. But honestly, that really, like, when it finally got to his POV, it was almost like it made it have so much more weight, especially with all he goes through in this book, like his kind of mysterious absence. And then we finally get his inner monologue later in the book. It really serviced it, I think. And it was a lot. His first appearance, there's so much going on in his head. So that was just a really cool thing that I remember reading the book and then getting to narrate it. Was like, okay, like where's my man at? And then boom, here's everything that he's been dealing with for the past month. And yeah, that was really cool for me.
Good. Yeah. And it's like you get this like cool guy kind of, obviously he has a lot of like feelings in book 1, and you get to see the softer side of him as well. But like I really wanted people, to like get inside his head in book 2 and realize that like it's not all roses for him. Like he has had to deal with a lot and is still dealing with a lot. And I know like we'll get to some of those scenes, but I know, Alec, for you, like some of the very emotional scenes later were like really heavy for you, and but I think it like brought it to the scenes, and I could just hear. I loved your dynamic like with Delphine, like playing Aaron with his mom, and also I didn't even put it in here, but the silver tongue. We get the silver tongue for the first time in this scene, and your portrayal of his silver tongue, like as it gets more sinister throughout the story, like gives me goosebumps, like, ugh, oh my gosh. So I just feel like that, there's so much heaviness for him and so much like inner turmoil. So I'm glad that you found that meaty and rewarding to kind of go through, I think.
Brittany, and I don't know if that was intentional to leave his POV until chapter 10, but I think introducing the silver tongue too early would have been a bit much for everyone. Just like Alec was saying, like, this is a lot. This is an inner voice. What is this? But I think because you gave it that much time to get settled back into the characters and these new burgeoning dynamics between new love interests and Toma and all of this, and then Aaron has a voice in his head. Okay. Yeah, it was just perfect pacing. I mean, I thought you did such a great job, because this is like, at this point in a story is when you'd kind of be like, oh, do I want to keep reading? Is this still have my attention? And you do. Yeah. Another really long day for both Quinn and Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, people say to make every scene count, and like sometimes I think I do it to a fault, where it's just like, whoa, like, and then this happened, and there's like there's no slow point. But I guess it keeps you reading, but also it's just like there's a lot going on in here. But I'm so glad that you say that, because yeah, there was this like, oh shoot, should he come earlier, and like should we get to know like what's been going on, and yeah, I feel ultimately I felt like it was in the right place, and yeah, and even like the silver tongue. Like I knew he was tempted to use it in book 1, but I didn't know that there was a voice until I was editing book 2. And I was just like, wait a minute, like there's like this whole thing. Cause like actually Aaron's arc was probably the most underdeveloped in the first draft. And I knew I had a lot of work to do. And I think I to some point overdid it, because I was just like, oh wait, and then there's this, and then he's dealing with that, and then he loses Finn, and like all this stuff, and it's just like it gets really heavy. But like I think that when I started introducing that, it started bringing up that one of the deeper themes that we were talking about, of just like the lies that we hear in our heads that we tell ourselves, or if you believe that there's a greater evil that's kind of working against us. It's just like we hear these lies, and it's like, what do we do? How do we battle this? How do we stay true to ourselves? How do we hold on to the good? And I think like his whole arc, and like realizing again that he can't do it on his own once we get to that point where like him and Quinn are kind of in the tunnel. I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, it's just like that. I really wanted to like get that across, of just like you don't watch yourself, you don't watch what you're thinking and what you're believing about yourself. Like you can end up in a really dark place if you don't have people that are like around you like enforcing that truth. So anyway, a little deep there, but I'm really glad that you guys like that. Awesome. I hate Kaido so much, but that means you did your job well. Yes. I mean, we hate him from the beginning, and then we really hate him by the end, right? Yes to the art of Layman, and I love that. Yeah. So also the part with Layman dancing with Quinn is in there because I started getting some readers DMing me and talking about the story in general, but being like, actually, I started to ship Layman and Quinn. And I was just like, what? Like, really? And that just like was not on my radar, but it was like multiple people, at least 3 or 4 people have told me that. And I was just like, you know what? This needs to get addressed in this book. And so we have this moment where we have Layman kind of like showing that he has interest in Quinn, but then ultimately being like, well, no, they're not really. Quinn realizing that they're not meant to be, that he's not a good fit. So hopefully it was like a fun thing to like kind of get that moment for readers who are like, no, like I ship them, but then also realizing like I'm like the author, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna work out like that, guys. But it's still a really, really fun scene to write. Yeah, sucker for dance scenes. It was really fun. I actually asked a bunch of people on Instagram, I was like, send me all of the movies that have the best ballroom dance scenes. And I like watched a ton of them. And I was just like looking at different like dance moves and being like, how can I describe the dancing going on without making it like overly descriptive and like bogging it down, but also move like you visualizing it and visualizing their talking as they're doing it. One reader told me, she was like, I could see it like a movie. And I was like, yes, I want to see these dance scenes in movie format. That would be so, so fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed all of that. Let's see, Aaron's the brooding shirtless guy withholding his POV for a later chapter. Makes so much sense. Good. I'm glad there's the brooding shirtless guy. Love it. Let me see if there's anything else. I also just really briefly want to talk about the theme that's going on with all of them having these like mental weapons to kind of battle the silver tongue and to like battle the lies and all of this stuff. And that also, I say this every once in a while, but like I'm a Christian, and like I don't write Christian books, but I like it's my faith is very much like influences everything that I do. So I actually, if you've ever heard of the armor of God in scripture, that's basically what I based all of these mental weapons on. You can even see it like Aaron has a breastplate and Quinn has a sword, and Hickory, he has a shield, and like all of those kind of things. But they're even in scripture, they're like spiritual weapons against the enemy and against evil forces and against the lies that the enemy's trying to tell us. So it was really cool to kind of fantasy that, and to kind of put that in that context, and to see them kind of use those. But actually, like, I always envision it as like actual like mental like weapons as well, spiritual weapons. And so it was cool to like depict that for them, and like even Alice like using her like vines, you know, so that's not actually like an actual piece of armor, but like it's part of her, and I thought that worked. So yeah, so that was fun. And then I'll just say for the veil scene with Hickory, I know a bunch of you really, really love that one. I feel like I drafted that, and it almost very little of it changed after the draft. Like it just one of those scenes that just like flowed out of me, and it was so fun to write. They like come so naturally to me, and obviously that came through. So that made me really, really happy. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share. And then finally, we end on this like epic, like, okay, finally the other shoe has dropped. I think some readers were like, okay, where's Maverick? Like, how are you gonna like weave this back in, this epilogue that you teased us with at the end of book 1? And so finally, like midway through the book, he comes through. So I'd love, like, if any of you guys have thoughts about that, kind of like what you were feeling when you finally got to that section in the book. But obviously he is the dark traveler. Gaius comes in and you know, says that's who he is, and he's got like, yeah, he's a seer, a partial seer, as we find out. He can give Quinn like this magical tattoo, all this different stuff. So yeah, I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts about like the midpoint that was supposed to be like the big, like, okay, now everything's gonna like flip on its head. And I can look at comments too to see if there's anything else, but yeah.
Real quick on the we'll talk about Maverick, but on the Aaron's failed proposal to Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was tough. That poor guy, huh? I mean, it was tough to read. It was tougher to perform. It was like, I was like, what are you doing, man? I get it. Like, totally get you.
Yes,
but I was just
yes.
like, oh, I was like, dude, not now. Well, I think it's because I can, as a reader, like, I know what Quinn's thinking, but he doesn't have that luxury. So when he was going for it, I was like, oh my God, I was like almost cringing. I was like, dude, no, please.
Don't do it.
Definitely exhaled audibly. Every time I listened to it or read it, I was like, oh, and there he is.
Yes. Yeah, and actually, so fun inspiration. While I was writing this scene, I was trying to come up with more dialogue and more like the vibes of what was going on. And my critique partner, Allie, was like, this is really giving me the vibes of Rory and Jess from Gilmore Girls. And Jess actually tries to get her to like run away with him. And I rewatched that scene, and you might see some like echoes of some dialogue that's like kind of similar. But it was, I was watching the scene, I was like, yes, this is exactly what's happening. Like, so like there's some inspiration there. If you're a Gilmore Girl fan, you can rewatch that scene and kind of get the vibes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I thought you did an awesome job with that, Alec, and just really impactful. We had to go back and forth a couple times about Quinn's dialogue though too, because I was just like, she does have emotion, she is feeling, like she is like sad, like don't make her too mean, because people already think she's too mean to him. So we had to finesse that a little bit, but I think you like captured it by the end, and then we get to Quinn's POV that Talon did, and like really like all the emotions she was having. I tried very hard to like not make it so that like, okay, now we're recapping the last scene that we saw, and like feels really repetitive. Like hopefully it felt very like, okay, finally we get to know like what was in their head like while that was going on. But
well, and that was the particular challenge with this one, having not read or narrated or performed the proposal side of it. It was like, okay, in this gigantic chapter, again, really where Quinn feels everything, and then like especially as she's speaking to Maverick, it's like, okay, what is her emotional what is her head doing? And is she just completely overstimulated? Is it just, is she diving into this and focusing on this familiarity and just putting everything else at the back of her mind? You know, like what is the emotional context here? And so that was just really interesting. And then also to be like, okay, wait, does she know that Maverick is bad? No, she doesn't yet. So make sure that that doesn't come out until it's supposed to. So yeah, it was a fun challenge for sure.
Yeah, piggybacking off that, like, I think again that's what makes the POV so fun. It's because during a scene you're like, oh my god, I cannot wait to hear what's going on in the other person's head because this is crazy. So just again, like having the different POVs, and then especially with a scene like that where it's immediately after you get what they were thinking, so cool.
Right. Oh, good. Yeah, it's like a rewarding kind of like, I was hoping for this, and not like a, oh, okay, now we're just gonna like hear the scene again.
But you only get so much, and then something else happens.
Yes. Boom, boom, boom. This is how Brittany works.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to say, Talon, when I first heard your Maverick voice in the epilogue of book 1, I was like, I cannot wait to have more Maverick in the next books, because like you nailed his pirate, like just like suaveness, and just like, oh my gosh, you just nailed him. And so it was really fun to hear him in this scene talking to Quinn, and also bringing Gaius back, and like having that brother sister kind of dynamic again. And again, more of that is to come. And I also wanted to say that like your Hickory and Vale scene, I just remember, I think I messaged you after I listened to it, and I was just like, this was perfect. Like the swooniness, like the feelings, it was just like, it was so fun.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That scene, any scene where like the dynamic of a relationship changes is like the most fun.
Yes.
I don't know if you agree with that, Alec, but for me, I just like, here is when it begins and blossoms into something more.
Yes. Well, you nailed it. I loved it. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple of comments. Oh my god, I totally got the Armor of God connection. Nice to have it confirmed. Yay! That's definitely something I'm going to look at differently on the reread. Yes, I love when you guys say you're gonna reread it. That just makes me so freaking happy. And like, you know, like picking up on like all the foreshadowings and hints and stuff, because like you read book 2 knowing that Toma's a fairy. You know, you read book 2 knowing, I don't know, just certain things that you're just like, Kaito is, you know, the one of the big bads. It's like you just hear certain things differently. And so I hope you enjoy that. Guys being part of that scene totally surprised me. Good. I'm glad. But it was good. I'm glad. Poor Aaron can't catch a break in this book. It's good for growth. Failed proposal was totally giving 2005 Pride and Prejudice too. Yes. Oh my gosh. I can totally see that. Agreed. Talon's Maverick accent is great. Love it. Okay. We really need to move on. I'm so sorry. Okay. We're going to move on to part 4, Court of Chaos. We have Hickory. It's the proposal day. Vale saves him from mean old Niall, which also, like, again, I always loved Talon's Niall, and this was another voice, Alec, that I feel like you just, like, nailed. And when I was just like, yes, it totally vibes. Like, he is, like, such the mean guy, and totally hit him. And then we have Aaron, the proposal dance that he does with Arista, and kind of like the lore that he's dancing through was really fun to write. I can say a little bit about that in a second. And then he says Quinn's name at the end of this. And I'll just say it right now, that part was very much inspired. If you've ever watched Friends, we have that scene where
it was Ross and Rachel.
And Ross is about to marry Emily, and instead of Emily, he says Rachel's name. And so it was really fun to like write into like how Quinn like ends up at the proposal behind the curtain, and he sees her and says her name. So that was really fun. Then what do we have here? Oh, this was Quinn, how I explained like how she gets into the proposal, which changed like 5 times. But I think I liked how it ended up. And then we have Alice and Wit coming in, them figuring out what they're going to do. And then she goes to see Arista, and she's dying, and she ends up actually dying. And Kaito and Aaron come in, and Aaron believes her even though she's there with her dagger and it's bloody, and like, they fight their way out, and then Aaron comes in and whisks her off to this closet where they have to hide and have this almost kiss scene. So again, there's lots of almost kissing going on, just not the actual kissing. And then they escape on Toma, which is really fun. We have the only one dragon scene, and then we find out Quinn can talk to Toma without Alice. What is going on? We have Aaron moments, more Aaron moments, Sweeney moments at the end there. Then we have Alice, and she has to handle this regent meeting and just all the feelings that she's feeling with all the conflict. And it was fun to like kind of get into more of her backstory and thinking about like why it was so like emotions and experiencing people's emotions and conflict is so hard for her, because she's an Enneagram 9, but I had to think about like why is that so impactful for her. And so like delving into the fact that like they lost her older sister at a young age, and like it was this whole family, like how did this family handle it, and to think that it wasn't like, oh, we're just a perfect family, even though they're probably the most functional family in this whole book, that they had to really work through the loss of a child, the loss of a sister, and maybe didn't handle that as well as they could have right off the bat. And like her kind of having the experience of like, my family could have fallen apart. It didn't, but it was really kind of traumatic. So anyway, that's a little behind the scenes thing with that, is like that was kind of a moment that I had to like really chew on for her and be like, oh, I think this is the root of it, of where it came from. And then we have her whole dynamic with Layman, and then they whisk off to the Mystic hideout. She reconnects with Toma. They get inside the Mystic hideout, and this is where a bunch of other reveals come out, where Maverick is also a partial seer. He also has all 5 bloodlines, and there's this whole other part of this prophecy that we got introduced in book 1 that it's not finished, and they have to uncover it. So Alec Talon, any behind the scenes or thoughts or feelings for you on these chapters?
Well, there's a lot that happens here.
So much.
First, I love Alec. I loved especially the chapter of Aaron's doing the proposal dance. I thought you just did a great job on that. And then getting to narrate what came after was very fun. I think my favorite chapter in this part to narrate was the dragon scene. Sucker for anything Quinn and Aaron. So yeah, that was really good. And then this is where I started to pick up on I bet Toma's a fairy, because then Quinn could talk to him. It was like the Gwillian thing, I think that was stated before. It's like, you know what? This is a love interest for Alice. And yeah.
Yes. So it's really funny, because in my first beta round, there were some people that were kind of shipping them, like hoping that like, oh, maybe he'll be a fairy. But there was quite a few that, well, not quite a few. I'll say maybe out of the 16, there was like at least 2 or 3 that were like, this threw me for a minute. Like I was not, and it's because you guys are not reading the version that they read. But it was like this moment of just like, oh shoot, like I need to make sure that this like is really hit, like it's foreshadowed enough that people aren't like for sure guessing it, but like are also kind of hoping for it. And it's so rewarding to hear people be like, not only like, ooh, I think he's a fairy and maybe there's a thing with Alice, but like, I hope there is. Like I had so many readers, like as they were reading, telling me that like, like I just wish he was a fairy so he could be with Alice. And I'm like, keep reading. So yeah, so that was really, really fun. I love it. Alec, any thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, I loved the moment towards the beginning of part 4 when Vale saves Hickory from Niall and the Mean Girls. That was just, I don't know, I loved the just how showing that how much she cares for him, but also like how he still has some growth to do. Like he, obviously towards the end of the book, he goes through some growth and does more courageous things. But at this moment in time, he still has trouble socially a little bit, like sticking up for himself. And, so having Vale kind of jump in for him was so rewarding, especially since I don't know exactly what was exchanged, but I think she called Niall something, and I was like, yes, like get after him. So that was really fun. And then in the closet, that whole sequence, I mean, the one dragon scene was amazing, but leading up to it, I mean, the stakes of, well, actually, first of all, going back, Aaron blindly believing Quinn, and we can talk more about their discussion about that later on. But that was just like so sweet. But again, I was also in my head like, oh man, like, dude, you are all in. Like, oh my God. Like, let's we're not looking at the facts here. We're just but
very true.
No, but again, it just,
he thinks like, with his heart. He's a nymph. He thinks with his heart.
Yes, exactly. But then them on the run together, and then I think we had a back and forth briefly about Quinn's dad. I recorded him because you said you wanted to garner a little bit more of a redemption for him in this book, and I recorded a line for him. I think it's the only line I had for him, of him being frustrated with Quinn, and then you had me go back and be like, well, let's have him be frustrated, but also like feeling empathy and almost like sadness that she's going through this. So that was really cool to kind of go back and forth with you about too.
Yeah, no, and I'm so thankful. Like, these guys are so gracious with me, and so like just are so committed to like making this the best audiobook ever. And so like I was really appreciative, yeah, in those moments where it was just like, oh, but this line, but like really what's going on here is this, and can we just like please? And like they were just always just like, yes, or they didn't say anything, or they just did it, and then they were just like, here it is. And I'm like, great, you guys are amazing. And I think like just being able to have that relationship with you guys, but also being able to like try to rein myself in as well and not ask too much, but like at the same time be like, but this is gonna be awesome, and it was worth it. It's amazing. So I'm glad. Thank you for redoing that line. And yeah, like I feel like Faden, yeah, I love redemption arcs, and I feel not everybody will be redeemed, but I feel like his story and like his relationship with Quinn is just so interesting and fun to like kind of delve into. So I loved that. Let's see. I was suspicious that Toma was love interest, but had no clue how you were going to make it work. Yeah, like he's a dragon, right? Yeah. So me too. Yes, yeah, same. So I hope you guys, yeah, liked how that all shook out. Okay, we're gonna there's more that I could say. We're gonna keep going because we got 2 more parts, and then we'll wrap it up. So Sparks of Magic, Part 5. Quinn and Aaron, they fight. They have their big fight. Yes.
They needed to.
They did. Aaron really needed to stand up to her, right? And so, yeah,
so
he's
proud
like
of him.
Yes. Good.
Well, Aaron, you did a great job with this one too.
He did. Yeah, Alec, you killed it. And like, I think it's a perfect balance between like how much he cares about her, but also like you just gotta apologize, girl. Like you got, like, we have to, like, anyway. So yeah, so they have that whole scene, and I think because he's an Enneagram 2, like I just know Enneagram 2s, like they don't like conflict. They don't like, they fear like the loss of relationship. They fear, like not like being loved. And so like that's what was keeping him, too, from like saying too much. And then it just gets to a point where it's just like, ooh, now it's gotta like fall out. And then they have to deal with that. But then we have Alice and Thomas Soulscape, and we get confirmation that he's a fairy and that he's Gwillian, and that Quinn can possibly shift into a dragon in the future. That's the thing. And then that some dragon travelers are alive. And then also that there's travelers in the Neverworld. We found that out in the last part. Then we have to find out Vale is an interpreter. So there's that whole connection with Hickory, and that the spyglass that was foreshadowed and brought up all the way in the beginning with Gwendolyn finally gets like the light and then like understand like why it was brought up, because like she has those memories that she can then like call that back and be like, maybe this would be helpful. So there's that. And then the pirates stole the spyglass, but then they gave it to Maverick. So now they have to plan this whole heist for the spyglass. And before we get into the whole heist, we have these bonding scenes that were not in the original draft, but I just felt like we needed it, and my betas were awesome in giving me ideas for this. So we have this whole Aaron and Hickory finally kind of getting over some of themselves and figuring out how they can relate to each other and bonding. And I really loved that, and the portrayal of that, Alec. And then the girls scene, Talon, that whole dynamic was so fun with them too. And that scene needed a lot more finessing. The guys scene like kind of spilled out of me, but the girls scene, I really worked with my betas of like, what do you want to happen in this scene, and what should they talk about? Like, let's have this girl powwow, and the flame fizz that they have to drink and everything was really fun to kind of come up with. And then Toma helps Alice with her letter to Layman, and we kind of get a little bit more of like hints of like, yeah, maybe some changing feelings, especially now that he's a fairy. And we see Quinn struggling with her fire yet again. She gets to talk to Toma about Alice, and we get confirmation that Toma has had feelings for Alice, but he's been holding it back. And we have more training with Pilo that actually catapults her into some things that she does in the final part of this book. So yeah, you guys had a lot of fun things to narrate in this section. Any favorites or any memories that you have of going through any of this?
I love Aaron sticking up for himself finally. I mean, again, I brought it up last part, but like he's just blindly doing things for her, and the Gwillian in her can't like see that like the emotional toll that it's taking on him. So I'm so glad that he gets not only like he gets kind of like physical in a way where he's like cuts himself on the glass, and like it's just so well done in terms of like he's in this turmoil, but he's trying so hard to hold it together. And then when she walks in, it's just like the fuse is lit. It was so fun to do. Like recording that scene, I just felt such relief. It was great. I was like, you don't even care about me.
Therapeutic for you.
Yeah. I was like, come on, I'm doing all this stuff for you, and you don't even care. Like, do something. It was great.
Yeah, well, you portrayed it perfectly. All of that was coming out. It was great. It was awesome.
I think also just reading through it as a fan, that's what Quinn needs. She needs to see that fire to kind of like match her. So I think honestly, that was the best thing he could have done, to then show that they weren't all that different, and that she's not over on her own island dealing with all her anger issues and isolation issues. It's like they're all feeling it.
Yep.
And then to piggyback off that my favorite scene to narrate was the girls' bonding moment. I think someone called it a slumber party vibe thing. And because as I was thinking about it, all of the characters in that scene, Wit, Quinn, Vale, and Alice, none of them have had that before, that bond, that like where they felt like they belonged in this colony of misfits sort of thing. And that's just super special. That moment of just like stillness and laughter and fellowship. And yeah, just really well done. Really well done.
Yay. I'm so glad you had fun. I can't think it came through in the narration, because they're just like, yeah, they're like sisters or like best friends, just like, yeah, that slumber party vibe and that like, yeah, camaraderie that you're describing. And I'm just so glad that came through in the writing and that you enjoyed doing that, because yeah, it was so funny, because I was like, they need this moment. They're actually, so from the wedding to the heist, through that, it used to be one day. Like all of that happened in one day in the original draft. And my readers were like, once they realized it was one day, they were like, wait a minute, what? Like, this cannot all happen in one day. This is ridiculous. And it was because I had less stuff in the original draft. And again, like this was part one of like a whole book. So it was much shorter. There was a lot less going on, but then I added and added and added. And all of a sudden it was just like, wait, no, now it can't be one day. So I had to like figure out ways to like break it up and add more slower moments like this bonding moment. But I think, yeah, that just made it that much sweeter, and you get to see them being like, okay, we've been through a lot, like let's like just be together and like decompress and have some fun. So I'm glad you guys like that. Let's see, yeah, slumber party vibes for sure. Love the bonding scene so much. The slumber party vibes. Yay! So I'm really glad that you guys like that.
Yeah, the
Also, I will
boys
just
coming
oh,
together real quick. That was like
yes.
that was my like Avengers Infinity War. that was so fun because I think that was their only one of the only moments where they really talked to each other in the same scene or in the same so that
Up
was
till
just
this
like
point in the book, yeah.
so that was so fun just like because usually I'll just record chapter by chapter, switch off, but having them interact and then kind of get over this almost childlike disdain for each other. Again, that classic, everyone loves a classic like tough guy and then like soft guy actually building a bridge and becoming friends. So I am really excited. I don't know what's going to happen in the next one, but I'm really excited. Hopefully we get a lot more of the bro time.
Yes, yeah, totally. Bromance is happening. It was more so in the next book, and then I realized, wait, I have to like work this in more in this book to really like delve into it. So yeah, more is coming for them. They're in the Neverworld together, so they're definitely going to be interacting. But it was so fun to like. I think actually one of your original audition scenes was part of this scene, and that's where I think I had you. I was trying to see what you would do with the other voices, and you did Hickory, and this was the scene that I was like, oh my gosh, he nailed Hickory. Like, I think I'm gonna have him do both. So that was like really fun scene. And then we'll get to it in the final part, but like they have this one more scene together where like Aaron in Dust Barrow like almost like gets himself revealed and Hickory has to save him and then Aaron has to save him, and it's kind of this like whole like moment together. So I'm glad you had fun with that. I could tell as you were recording it. I was like, yes. And I want to say one more thing before we move on. So I want to say too, like with Vale, some behind the scene stuff with her magic is like I went back and forth when I was developing the rest of the series. Is like, is she going to have magic or is she not? Is her arc going to be like, I'm the only one without magic? Like, and then that's part of like her just accepting herself without it, or is she going to have it? And what is that going to mean for her? And I think because it so naturally like came out of her natural skills that she already had, and then it started connecting with Hickory and like being like, I was like, oh no, this has to happen. Like those kind of arcs of like I have no power and like I'm okay without it is like so valuable, and I love those as well. But like it just worked so well with Vale. And like if you guys have ever watched or read Wheel of Time, they have the Aes Sedai and the their warders, and they're kind of dynamic, and that was kind of the inspiration but for this interpreter seer dynamic. Like it's not exactly the same, but it was like this, like they have to play off of each other and it kind of brings them closer together. So if you've seen or read it, that's kind of fun inspiration behind the scenes thing for that. Okay, one comment and then we're going to get into the last section. Late to the party but listening to the first non-spoilery part, loving getting to know the faces and hearts behind the voices I'm hearing every day while getting my 10,000 steps in reading book one. That's amazing. So yeah, I think this person is watching from the beginning. So when you see this, we love that. We love that you're spending time with the story as you get your steps in. Okay, final section and then we will wrap up. Epic finale, Trials of Thieves. We have we actually did not have a Hickory POV, if you notice, in the last section, which I went back and forth about, like, oh, am I okay with this? But I feel like he has a couple. He has at least two in this section, and they're really big for him. So I felt like he like really shined in this section. They enter Dust Barrow. He actually starts feeling like maybe these kobolds actually like me. Like there's moments where he like sees the art piece of him and different stuff like that, but then they get this whole like, no wait, there's goblins here and like they're being occupied and what is going on. Then we have Vale stealing the spyglass, and kind of that scene where they go in thinking they're going to steal it, and then they end up saving Vexa and getting gifted the spyglass. So that was a really fun scene, and kind of dynamic to play with. And then Aaron and Quinn go to, sorry, that's supposed to be stealing the Everlift. That doesn't make any sense. That's an error. They were stealing an Everlift engine. Aaron and Quinn are the ones stealing the spyglass. So then they go try to steal that, but they see Niall and Tal, and we're like, what is going on? Why are they here? And Aaron totally loses control with his silver tongue. Very, very impactful scene. And then then they go in and there's the spyglass isn't there. Luna and the pirate crew are, and all these other fairies getting held there to become goblins. And so Quinn has this like pivotal moment of like, what am I going to do? Like, what kind of leader am I going to be? So that kind of has like the servant leader kind of theme that's also woven in there. There's a lot of themes in here. Quinn and Aaron have like one moment that kind of moves them in a better direction, and they come up with their new plan, which is the decoy, which I did not, like when I was first writing it, did not plan that. Like I was just like, okay, the decoy is going to be this fun like pirate thing that they did, and I'm going to use that in the wedding. And then when I came to like fleshing out this part of the book, I was just like, wait, let's bring it back and like, let's have the original pirates do it again. So that was really, really fun. Hickory saves Vale. He has his overcoming his fear of the dark moment and saving the one he loves. So that's a really fun scene. Quinn and Aaron go into this magical wind tunnel and fight their lives and help each other kind of get through that. And that was one moment that I was like, do we have a kiss here? And it just didn't feel right. So sorry everybody who wanted a kiss, but I think like building in their trust and their dynamic again was just like my goal of just like, okay, we're bringing them back together. There's definitely feelings there. There's definitely, you know, like wanting to be together, but like we're going to get there. I promise we're going to get there. And let's see, and then Alice, we're in her POV when Niall and Tal show up and attack the ship. Toma gets controlled by Ronan. What is going on? Aaron and Quinn get the spyglass, but wait, Niall shows up with Tal and Finn, and then Kaido shows up and Finn dies, and then Aaron gets this huge moment of just resolve, of just like, it's the last thing I'm going to defeat my father. Quinn then comes up with a plan to kind of use Toma to then suck up all the fire so she can like have fire to fight, but instead she hits him by accident because of Ronan, all the craziness. But she ends up having like this epic moment where she does consume the fire with Aaron's help, and that was a fun thing to kind of work in again to show their dynamic and them working together. Aaron tries to save Toma, but then Ronan kind of gets her, but then Toma saves her and has this touch her and die kind of moment. But then we kind of leave them on a note of just like what is going on with them, which we'll pick up in the next book, because Toma's like, you need to know your value, and she's just like, I'm trying. Not quite there. And we wrap up with poor Finn's funeral, and then Dustbarrow totally embracing them, but Quinn still being like, you have to let me be the villain because it's not our time to totally defeat Maverick yet. They go back to the hideout. It ends up that they have to split up. People going to the Neverworld, people are staying behind. They have to say their goodbyes. Flying ship, not into the sunset, but into the sky towards this portal that's going to bring them to the Neverworld. And then we get epilogue, this long epilogue. People were like, is it an epilogue? I'm like, it's an epilogue. We're going to go with it. They go back to Eldor. We have the secret passage, Maverick and Gwen, and this reveal about her grandmother, Alana, and the journals that she finds. So much. That's a lot. That's why it's such a long book, you guys. So we're getting some comments, but you guys, the Finn, I'm just going to put the Finn ones up here. Poor Finn. Thoughts, memories, comments from the narrators about this section.
Man, part 6.
Yeah.
This was crazy. Talon, do you want to go first? I guess we'll just go down.
Sure. I mean, I'm just like, there were so many moments that you'd been building up to the whole story. So like the wind tunnel scene, I know was my first favorite on this list. And just having that, you did a brilliant job of building emotional intimacy in this story, as opposed to a physical intimacy, which you see a lot in the romantasy genre. And I thought that was really lovely because you see very clearly who and what Aaron and Quinn are to each other and what they can offer each other and how great they are as a team. And if they can both accept that and balance each other out at the same time, then it's going to be great. And then also revealing that Aaron's silver tongue can be used for good too. I'm excited to hear more about that in book 3 and why exactly he's hearing a voice in his head and no one else is. I have my thoughts, but I'm excited.
Oh, I'd love to hear them. I mean, if you don't want to share it now, I'd love to hear it at some point.
Okay. But yeah, so I loved that scene so much. And then going straight into suddenly Kaito's there and he's worse than we all thought. And that whole scene of Aaron recounting the memory of their kiss together, that was a clever way to get a kiss in there without actually having a new one in. So that was really clever. And then having it from his perspective, of course, to hear more about that. So that was really cool. And then of course Finn and Alice and Toma. And I think what really struck me with Alice's POV was her interaction with Ronan, and that she went through all of his emotional memories and that he was not a redeemable character. And you'd mentioned before that some of the characters won't be redeemed. And I thought that was a really interesting element to this particular arc, is that this character had chosen to be where he was, even though it was so obviously destroying him, was not good quality of life, and there was a healing opportunity. Some people choose it anyway and will continue to. So what do you do with that? So I can't wait to see where that takes Alice into book 3. It says she goes through a lot of stuff, and I'm sure it's probably going to be more along this line. But yeah, so there's so much more I could say, but Alec, what about you?
I think my favorite scene, honestly, in the entire book is when Aaron loses control. That recording that was so hard, being in Aaron's perspective, but it was so fun. I think a cool, I guess, like behind the scenes thing we could share is that originally when I first sent my silver tongue voice sample, it was I think it's what it sounded like in this final chapter. It was like maximum silver tongue. But then we had the great idea of like almost every time the silver tongue appears, it gets more and more sinister. And the art of that is so cool, because it's kind of like a representation of Aaron slowly getting those cracks in his armor. And then when it breaks in this scene, oh my God, so much fun. I loved like getting that darker side to Aaron that he's been fighting. Again, so like cathartic, like, oh, Niall, man, man, if I wrote it, Brittany, I don't know.
You wanted him to listen to this silver tongue.
Yeah, it would be easier. I'm just saying, I'm not a silver tongue empathizer, but yeah, let's just get rid of him. No, but it was so cool, so well written, and oh my God, and then the editing too. Talon, if everyone doesn't know, Talon did the editing for the book, and those effects with the watery effect on the voice, and when Aaron finally snaps, so cinematic. I mean, audiobooks are amazing. It was great.
Yeah, if you're going to reread this book and you have not listened to the audiobook, please do it with the audiobook, because it's an experience. Like, these guys don't just straight monotone read. Like, as you can hear from this whole thing, like, they put their heart and soul into it, and it so comes across. And I remember, I hope it's okay that I share with this I probably should have asked you before, but you said something about your experience after recording that scene.
Yeah. I
somebody saying something to you.
Yeah, no, I think it was either this one or Finn's departure.
Oh, maybe it was Finn.
But either way, yes, no, I did the scene in my studio, and then I was like, okay, I'm done for the day. Like, this was tough. And then I walked upstairs and my girlfriend was like, what happened? Like, are you okay? And I was just like, you gotta go on Audible and buy this thing. But I mean,
it'll destroy you.
Yeah, no, but truly, like, it was just such and it's so funny, Brittany, because in the beginning of this, you said that Finn almost wasn't going to be in the book.
Yeah.
And then you put him in and killed him. Okay, let's try it.
So I'm trying to remember exactly the details, but like, yeah, Finn wasn't in there, and like some of my beta readers were like, they wanted to know a little bit more about Aaron. Like, does he have a pet? Is he like have a best friend? Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't have like that dynamic. He was just dealing with all of this stuff, and then he had like Niall and like all this stuff. So, and then there was this whole like he needed to have this moment of just like, this is it. Like this is the last straw. Like I need to like step up and like defeat my dad, and there's just like a few different elements. And one of my beta readers actually said, remember Finn? Like, wouldn't it be interesting if like you brought him back and like he was actually like you developed their friendship more, and like, and I think it was even that they were like, what if he died? And like at the end, and at first I was like, like I don't know if I want to touch that. And then the more I thought about it, the more I like developed it, I was just like, no, wait, this is like really great. And actually too, like Niall played a very, very small role, and I had like these random like nymph guards be like in there, and they didn't really have a backstory or like real good motivation. And then it was just like, wait a minute, this needs to be stronger. This needs to be Niall. Like he needs to face Niall in the end, not like this random guard that we've only known for this one book. Like we need this like, past to like kind of make this scene really pop. And then Kaito didn't actually show up in the final scene. That Niall just says all of the stuff about what the truth is, because I didn't want Aaron to have to physically face his father yet, because that is coming. But like then I was like, no, Kaito needs to show up. So like there's all these things with Aaron's arc that just made it harder and harder and harder for him. But yeah, that's kind of like a little bit of the behind the scenes of like how they got in there, and it just became so much richer and so much harder and so much heavier. But like at the same time, it's just like this is what he needs to like come to this next level. So Alec actually asked me, he was like, so when we get to book 3, is Aaron gonna like have some good moments? Like, are you gonna put me through the ringer again? So I promise you, like, all of the characters are still gonna go through hard stuff, but yeah, he's kind of on the up and up, I think, going forward. So hopefully that helps. But I think as we wrap up too, I'll just say that also, Talon, you're like, because we had the silver tongue the whole time, but you got to do like the wind voice, and I know we like finessed that a little bit, but like the whole dynamic of like, again, you guys have to listen to the audiobook of just like these creepy versions of Quinn and Aaron's voices just like screeching at them, and like with these lies, and like it just brought like this scene to life. Like it was just so like I could visualize the whole thing and like feel it. And actually Talon was like, I kind of lost my voice a little bit, or you like hurt your voice a little bit after doing it, right?
Yeah, the first one, because the description in the text was that it crescendos from like a whisper into a shriek. And so I was like, all right, let's use all of the dynamic range. And so I got one, and you were like, that scared me. Let's tone that down.
The first time you hear
it. Okay. But luckily all the rest of them were good. But yeah, I brought out a little bit of a horror movie voice in that one.
Yeah, well, and I think I was just like, I don't want somebody to be driving and like this be the first thing, like them hear it and like get into a car accident or something, because it was very like stark. But like then we got to build to the more starkness. That's what my brain goes. I'm like, I'm listening to audiobooks.
A car accident immediately.
I don't know, swerving, just being like, wow, like because
it's coming from outside.
It was just it's surprising, but like then we got to build toward it because they knew it was coming, so then it got like worse and worse as it went on. But yeah, but it was so compelling, and like all of the effects that you did, again, guys, if you haven't listened to the audiobook, all the effects that are on the different voices, especially like whenever Alice speaks in her head, there's like an effect on her voice versus when she's signing, which Talon did as well. And it's a labor of love, you guys. These guys like slaved over this audiobook, and it's so wonderful. Go pick it up. I think there were some comments, so I'm just gonna do those real fast, and then let's see. I love both the silver tongue scene and the wind tunnel scene. Yay. Well, that's so cool. I'll absolutely get the audiobook. Yay. Hope you enjoy it. I definitely want to do the audiobook next along with the physical book. Do it. The sense of betrayal is so much stronger with Kaito present. Yes, so Mary was one of my beta readers, and she can confirm, yes, that having Kaito is a lot better. I remember this version, I felt so bad because you were struggling to write it, but it was worth it. Yes, and Jacqueline and I, like, actually, I was DMing her separately and being like, well, what if I did this? And what if I changed that? And she was so great and, like, going back and forth with me. My betas are amazing. If you ever make a movie, I think Alec and Talon need to be your main characters. Yes, that would be fantastic.
Dude, I want this to be an animated series so bad.
That's true. Animated would be pretty epic, like Avatar style.
Yes.
Animated. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, animated, so I don't have to like go to the gym for a year and get buff like Aaron.
You want to dye your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, I love that. Yeah, you can come back and do all the voices, and yes, and then like showing the wings will be so much easier, you know, the whole bit. As an audiobook while driving fan, thank you for not scaring me.
All right.
That's too funny. We think about you guys. We think about you. Okay, I think there's so much more we can talk about, but we're about to hit 2 hours. My audiobook narrators have to save their voices for their wonderful craft. So I am gonna wrap it up, but I will say that there are 2 more books coming.
The names. I haven't seen the names yet.
Yes, they have names. On Wings of Smoke and Shadow is where they will be in the some of them will be in the Neverworld, and then on Wings of Fire and Fury, which was the title of when it was only going to be 1 more book, but it just fit the best with the last book. They're both, let me just go to my notes. You guys don't have to talk, so you can save your voices for a second. I have notes somewhere. Oh man, I had my notes. So, okay, anyway, here we go. So book 3 and 4. Book 3 is already drafted with early reader feedback. I already started rereading it and making notes for edits. My goal is to have it out before the end of 2027, but I'm hoping for even like mid 2027 or earlier. I don't know. I'm going to work really, really hard. I do think that I'm probably going to wait to give these guys the script until my ARC readers have finished going through it, because this past time there were like things where like ARC readers were like, oh, there's this error, like things that like I was picking up, and I was like, shoot, now I got to go back to these guys and be like, can you re-record this line? So the audiobook might take a little bit longer next time, but I'm hoping to get it as fast as possible. Book 4 has a very extensive outline because I had to rework some things a couple of times, but it feels like halfway between an outline and a draft. So one of my thoughts is maybe actually rereading both of them at the same time and possibly kind of working on both of them at the same time. It would mean that book 3 would come out probably later, but then you might get 3 and 4 like closer together. So I don't know which one you guys prefer, but that's a thought. And then I would just love to close with this, is what would you guys, like, what are you dying to see or most looking forward to seeing in the next 2 books? And I would just love to, like, anything you want to throw at me, I'm going to write it down. I will try to work it in if it fits. But I will tell you that definitely in the next books, you will, between books 3 and 4, you will get Maverick's full backstory. You will understand him a lot more. You will get the final parts of the prophecy. You will get Gaius in the next book. I'm just going to say it. Obviously, he's going to be there. Some people want his POV. I don't know if I can fit another POV in here, but I have toyed about having some bonus chapters in his POV, or maybe like a prequel chapter that you can get like free from my website or something. You will see Toma in fairy form. You will see the Neverworld. You will see the Travelers, both dragon and non-dragon. You will get hard won happily ever afters, but they will be hard won. You will get, one of the tropes you will get is a no spice, only one bed trope. No, not spicy, but just you'll get it. And then I promise to make it up to you for not having any kisses in book 2. The kisses are coming. So those are my promises to you as far as I can promise. I'm gonna throw anything else I see in the comments as they come up, but anything that you guys want as narrators that you would love for me to hand you for your POVs coming up.
Does Wit get together with Layman or Gaius? That's my question.
I will not tell you. I will not tell you.
I know you won't, but that's just what I'm throwing out there.
Nice try, Talon.
I'm writing it down. I love it.
I'm
Let's see.
excited to see. I mean, I would love to see them continue to master their powers. I mean, with Quinn's fire and Aaron's nice silver tongue and Hickory being a seer, like all those things, I'm excited. It would be so cool to see them actually. It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like I want to like look in the future and like see them actually master all of those things and like use them. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting there. But like, yeah, you have to like, you can't, it's like with the relationships, like you can't like give it all like right away because
of course.
then there's nowhere to go. But yes, we will get there. I love it. I love it. Let's see, we got, oh my God, very exciting about the books. I think that would be amazing is maybe the Gaius POV thing. I love the titles. Or maybe that would be amazing is getting both books. I think we're talking about both books maybe closer together. Gaius's POV, yes, one of my favorites. You guys got to tell me which ideas. Which ideas are your favorites? Yes, Talon, for some more shipping. Team Gaius personally. I hope we get to see Dragon Quinn at some point. Yeah. Not gonna. I don't want to spoil too much, but you know, yes, Dragon Quinn. Yes, yes, yes. So anyway, you guys have been amazing. I personally could just stay here for a few more hours and chat with you guys, but it is 9:30 for me, and my wonderful narrators have been fabulous. It's been so fun. It was really fun getting together with them like right before we started the audiobook and like kind of getting this like team dynamic of like, yes, we are here together and we're all in. So it was really fun to like kind of have a bookend kind of conversation with you guys, going through the story and going through the memories, and something I will treasure forever. And I'm very, very excited to do the next one and the one after that. So hopefully I get them to you sooner rather than later. But yeah, please stick with me and do the next books because I can't do them without you. So yes, but I don't know if you guys have any closing things you want to say, but I'm just so grateful to everybody who showed up and just talked about the book. It was really fun.
I just want to say thank you for sharing this story with us. So amazing. Like, I mean, I know this is something that a lot of voice actors deal with, but really stepping into these characters, and it's so much easier when the characters are so awesome and so fleshed out and have so much dynamic to them. So just being able, thank you for letting us take stewardship of them and bring them to life. It was so fun.
Thank you. Thank you for being willing. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Definitely. And I second that, as well as I want to thank your amazing fan base who has made it so fun to bring these characters to life, because they're so invested too. I mean, I'm just as much of a fan as a narrator. So Brittany, you've created an amazing community both in your books and also in real life. And so big pat on the back for you.
Oh, thanks. It's my favorite thing. It's so like it's so fun to write it, but if I didn't have the people to share it with, it would not be as fun. So you guys narrators, readers, you guys all make it just so rewarding and so fun, and I'm just so blessed. So thank you all for showing. I'll just pop up the rest of the comments right here as we head out. Thank you all for being here and just hanging out for 2 hours, and everybody else who's on the replay. You guys motivate me to get the next stories to you, and just so thankful. So we're gonna peace out, but this was epic. Get excited for the next books. Make sure you're on my newsletter. Make sure you're following me on Instagram for more updates, and we will be back for another one of these in the future as soon as we can. You guys have a good night. Bye.